what's up? This is Gintare, and this is going to be part 3 of the series about my orchid collections. And this series is about this miniature Phalaenopsis. I'll take it closer for you. So this orchid came from Love Orchids in the UK. It's a nursery that sells orchids basically to supermarkets. So so they are basically a commercial seller. They usually don't sell orchids to individuals, but due to COVID-19, their sales dropped so much that they actually decided to do the orders online for individuals as well. So they sell minimum 4 orchids, and you basically can't really choose much. They only sell Phalaenopsis, so you can say, you want miniature Phalaenopsis 4 or 6 or more, but you can't choose any colors or anything like that. So it's almost like a lucky dip. So I ordered 4 orchids for £20, which was really cheap, to be honest. A fiver for an orchid, I think, is quite cheap. They all arrived in very good condition. I actually gifted 3 away because I don't need that many Phalaenopsis, especially as I go into different genera and different types of orchids. I just ran out of space to keep so many Phalaenopsis. But I kept this one because of 2 reasons really. One is, I'm sorry, I know it reflects the purple lights above, but hopefully you can see it. I will try and make it. Here we go. That's a little better. So you can see it's got mottled leaves, which I obviously really like, as you already know. And also the flowers are fragrant on this orchid. And it's got very nice, kind of cold pink flowers, that's probably the only way I can describe it. I'll put a photo up so you can see. So yeah, it came in full bloom, 2 spikes. Pretty healthy orchid. I repotted it. I basically repot all my orchids as soon as they come into my collection, and it's mainly to avoid any bugs to spread to my collection, because I don't know how old the media is when I get the orchid, so I just feel more comfortable just repotting it before I introduce it to my collection. Or the other option for me is to keep them in a different room, but that room doesn't have the lights, it doesn't have the humidity, so I don't really want to keep orchids all over the place, because then I'll end up forgetting about them, and then they're not gonna get any watering at some point. So that's not a good option for me. So I repotted it, and it soon lost all its roots, which starts to become a theme here. So it kind of became a rescue orchid after that. So I cut the spikes off, even though they weren't completely finished, but I actually put them in water, and they were there for about a month, looking pretty nice. So they weren't completely wasted. And I left this orchid just in a spot to see what happens. So it grew its root system quite well. You can't see much through the pot. You can maybe see a few there. And if I go around, so you can see a few, on the side, but actually the spot is quite heavy. So I think there is quite a lot of roots inside. There's also this big root growing here below, and it's still got a green tip, so it means it's still growing. So we'll see where that ends up. And it also grew a leaf for me, which is this leaf here. And as you can see, that was its previous leaf, right, which grew before it came to my home. And you can see it actually has no modeling on the leaves. And I think, and it's also shorter than the previous one, and I think it must have gone through some kind of stress to do this. And then it grew this leaf for me, which is still smaller than the previous leaf, but it's bigger than this one. and it's also got some modeling on the leaves. It's not fully modeled, but it's, you know, it's looking a lot better than that one. So whatever it was stressed about, it looks like it's actually recovering. It's growing another small leaf from the top, which is amazing. And it's also got a very small flower spike just showing. I will try to show it, but I don't know if you will be able to see. So I'll take close-ups and then I'll insert it so you can actually see it. This flower spike started growing before this leaf came out. And then as soon as I started seeing this leaf, that flower spike just never grew anymore. So it's been sitting like that for about a couple months. So I think what is going on here is that the orchid must have just decided that actually, sorry about that, actually it wants to grow a new leaf before it starts working on a spike. So it stopped working on a spike. It's now gonna grow this leaf, and then hopefully it will continue working on a spike at some point, which is fine. If it needs more energy, then that's what it needs. And yeah, I got this orchid in about April, May time of 2020, so it's been around 9 months I had it. I think this mix actually has sphagnum moss in it, so I'm gonna look to repot this in spring to get the moss out. I'll talk more about my environment and why I'm no longer using moss in my other series about my environment and care for orchids, but basically my humidity is quite high all around the year, and the sphagnum moss doesn't dry out fast enough, so this media can stay soggy like that for a couple of weeks, which I don't like. I want the pots to dry out in about 5 days, so that when it comes to watering, I try to water it once a week on weekends, so when I come to water it, it will be fully dried out and had a dry spell for a few days before it gets more water. But this basically never dries out. So this is due for watering in 2 days, and I can see this pot is still all wet. So yeah, I think it needs a repot. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you later. Bye!